Today I'm going to do something called sambal terong. Sambal is encompassing term to describe a chili-based kind of relish. So this recipe is actually Indonesian. If you've been to Sumatra in Indonesia, there's a type of cuisine called Padang cuisine. And one of my favorites is basically an eggplant sambal. Okay, usually with the eggplant, they'll use the skinnier version and they'll cut them in half and fry them and then serve them with a chili relish. So we're going to do that today, except because we're using larger eggplants, we're going to dice them up instead. So the ingredients that go into this are very, very simple. We've just got eggplant, and I'm going to use these chilies. These are large banana chilies, actually. They don't have a lot of heat in them, so I might top them up with some bird's eye chilies, okay? And also some onion as well. So these are the bird's eye chilies, or in Chinese we usually call them small chilies, right? You don't have to do this. You only add it if you want a bit of heat. And now with this recipe, it can actually sometimes contain tomatoes as well. I don't have any tomatoes lying around, but if you do, just throw in 1 or 2 tomatoes in the paste that we're going to cook up as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to fry up the eggplant, dice them up and fry them up, and then separately we're going to process the onion and the chilies, and then we're going to fry that up and then mix the eggplant in, okay? Yeah, before I go on any further, I just want to thank Lenovo Australia to supply all the hardware that I use in my broadcast. I'm using Lenovo IdeaPad Y700, which is a gaming laptop for my live streams, and sometimes I use my ThinkPad X1 Yoga as well, which is this one over here. Okay, both are beautiful machines and both run really, really well for these kinds of fairly processor-intensive applications, right? So I'm just cutting these into chunks like this, if you can see them, okay? And I probably won't do too much. I'll just do another quarter. So I've got the chilies over here. I'm gonna throw in the onion and the chilies. And a couple of these bird's eye chilies as well, right? So these are what we call bird's eye chilies or small chilies. Okay. I'm just gonna mix this up a little bit. So all my appliances that I'm using during these broadcasts and over at the Summer Fruit Festival are supplied by Sunbeam Australia. Okay, that should do it. And now I'm going to pull out one of my favorite Sunbeam appliances, which is the Duracell frying pan. This is over here, and I just realized I need to go and grab some oil as well for this. So while this is plugged in and starting to heat up, I'm going to go and run over and grab some oil. Okay, I'm going to stick probably a couple of ladles of oil in here. And to be honest, eggplant is one of those vegetables that do soak up a lot of oil. So you can, you may need quite a fair bit of oil to fry this up with, but then you can stick it through a sieve and let it just kind of drain out, right? And that's what I used to do when I used to have my restaurant. I used to deep fry my eggplants. Now this recipe is very simple. Like I said, we've just got the chili and onion and tomatoes if you've got some. And then I'm just using the eggplants, and then you just got to season it up, right? But if you want to be a little bit fancy, you can actually put in belacan, which is a Malay or shrimp paste, also known as terasi in Indonesia. Same thing. So you can throw some shrimp paste if you've got some in the mixture, and that just kind of like gives a little bit more of a pungent oomph to your sambal. And I also want to thank Rode Microphones for supplying the microphones I use in my broadcasts. Okay, so you can see that it's browning out really well. I'm going to first take this out, right? And I'm going to start frying up the sambal, which is just, like I said, just chili and onion. So this is the sambal mixture that I'm going to throw in. It's roughly chopped up in the blender. But this has got quite a lot of liquid in it because primarily of the, I was going to say because of the banana chili, but the onion has a lot of liquid in it as well. So you're going to find that it will spit a little bit. I'm just moving it. You see the oil is over here. I'm just moving the sambal mixture away from the oil so that some of the liquid will evaporate before I bring it into contact with the oil. Otherwise, you might find that it will spit too much. And we just want to add a bit of salt to the seasoning. I mentioned before, usually in Padang, you will find the eggplant they use are the skinnier Asian ones, in which case you would just slice them in half and fry them, right? And then you would have the sambal spread over the top of it. The other thing I forgot to mention as well, we've got garlic. Some recipes do actually use garlic in this as well, so you can add garlic to your blender and blend it up as well, right? And sometimes belacan is the shrimp paste, preserved shrimp paste. So if you want to add belacan, it will basically make it non-vegetarian, but fundamentally, as it is, it's a vegetarian dish. Okay, so this is dried up nicely. I'm just going to throw the eggplant back in. So I'm just going to let this cook up a little bit more. And you want the eggplant to soften some more. And if you're deep frying like I usually do, then, it'll be a lot faster, but also the eggplant will tend to be a bit more oily. So I don't know if you can see this. It's turning out quite nice. It's still a little bit firm. So you want to cook it for probably another minute or so. I'm just going to cover it up with a lid. Like this. And let it cook for a little bit longer. And don't forget, if you're based in New South Wales, go and visit your local greengrocer.com.au. That's got a list of all the businesses that we support, that we basically advocate for. And these are all small independent greengrocers who, who can get all your beautiful Australian fresh produce on your shelves within 24 hours of them being farmed. There you go. Okay, this is perfect. Hope you can see this. I'm just going to dish some up. Yeah, okay. So there you go. That's my eggplant sambal. Super, super easy, right? And I will see you tomorrow for my next broadcast. Thank you, guys.